Hey there everyone, this is Jules. For round one, we were to do a vintage romantic or romantic vintage themed project, and we were given a Tootsie Roll Pop as a mystery item. And after opening everything, seeing the die cuts and everything, and I saw the theme of the vintage romance there. And then as soon as I saw the Tootsie Roll Pop, I'm like, oh wow, what am I? And then I'm starting to think, oh, I know what I could do with this. So I made my bouquet with it, and I'm excited because I like the way that it came out. I thought it was just cute. I do have detailed pictures of this particular project over on my blog that way you can see really up close, but I'll try to show you as much as I can. So this is an 8x8 emboss resist piece of paper, and in the package we have several die cuts. First is this shabby chic pink flower, some green twine, this die cut card, a couple of die cut doilies, a couple of hearts with patterns, a couple solids, and some words that say XOXO and love. Then there was that purple flower. And then the mystery item, as we almost all know, is the Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop. That was in my package. There it is. So the first thing that I thought of was to create the traditional Valentine's Day gift, which was a romantic card, a box of chocolates, and a bouquet of flowers. And so that's what I thought that I had done using my mind's eye blush paper collection. I had a little 6x6 paper pad, and I used that. I used quite a bit of gesso on here and chipboard for my box. I actually handcrafted the box and made it myself out of some die cuts, and using tons of wild orchid crafts and a prima flower. I think it was this one here that I used the prima flower on my little box. So let me show you the card first. So we got some die cuts. We got these two hearts, which I had added to the springs. I actually cut the spring from this is the Wild Orchid Craft floral spray, and the spring was tightly wound, and it was really short, and it was one on the spray. So I cut it in half and stretched it and added one of the die cut hearts. So it's kind of just floating in the air, and I added the spring and glued it down back in there and added the little heart die cut on that, and then added a few butterflies. And this was one of the biggest die cut pieces from the items that we got in our package. So there's that, and then there was a couple of round doily looking die cuts. This is one of them. This is half of one right here, and the other half I'll show you. It's on the box. We also got I think it was 8x8 actually, 8x8 sheet of what is called embossed resist paper. So what I did is that I cut mine into pieces, and I sprayed some of Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays to pull out the pink. Here is a strip. It's just sitting behind here. Some of the paper collection here, a brown that has that same kind of tone of the craft button that I had, just a couple of pearls just sitting back in here just to kind of add to that romantic feel. A lot of Wild Orchid Crafts flowers, some leaves, cheesecloth, and then we got a couple of words. We got one little die cut word that had XOXO on it, and then the other one said love. So I just cut it into pieces and made a banner with mine. We also got some twine, some green and white twine, which I toned down the green just a little bit so that the mint part of it, or the greenish color of it, would match the paper collection. And so I used some of Patsy's seam binding here that matched the collection too. So, I mean, it's not exactly teal. It has a little bit of greenish in it because there is some green in the floral pattern back there. And on the inside, I used some graphic 45 paper and use it as an inside, just a center, just to give just a decorative look. This is from an old My Mind's Eye paper. I can't remember. I think it's called, I actually think it's called Vintage Romance. And I think I used the tag from the bottom of the 12x12 paper pad in my box. I'll show you that. So I just distressed it, distressed the paper, and then I used some white, my Snowcat paint dauber to give that shabby chic look all over. These are part of the package, the die cut hearts, and here's the XOXO. And this is where, you can start writing your note. And I made an extra page to kind of create more space for writing. And so yeah, I thought that I have not made one with an extra flap like that, so I thought it was okay to do. So that is the card that I made. And then I hand built my heart box. This is a heart shape from a Sizzix die, and I used some more graphic 45 paper in that beautiful chocolate brown, and the embossed resist paper is right here. I just cut them in strips and I used it all the way along the side there. Some more of the My Mind's Eye paper in the green, and some of the brown that I just used a paper punch, an edge paper punch for the edges. Some Joann's lace here, and some of this cording, which is very, very thin. I don't remember where I got it. I think it was from Hobby Lobby, but I used it to trim here alongside to kind of hide the seam, and as well as down here. I used it all the way around it. The other half of the red doily die cut is right here. And from the paper collection, I just cut a couple strips here and I just made little flags, tucked it back there. We also got a shabby chic pink colored flower, fabric flower, which is back here. So it's sitting as my base, and a Prima flower right on top of it. A Melissa Francis? I think it's Melissa Francis, yes. Resin heart. Webster's Pages fabric ticket, says You and Me. Had it in pretty tones to it, so I thought it would be great to use for this collection. And I liked this pink with the polka dots. It was so cute. The purple flower that we got in our kit, or in the package, is this one here. Painted it twice with gesso, and then I added the green color here, mixing some paints so it'll match the collection, because there was no room for purple on here. There was no purple in the paper collection, so I had to alter the look. So this is the purple flower that we got. I didn't know what to do with it except to change the color. A couple of roses here from All Orchid Crafts. Some roses here from All Orchid Crafts, and then I kind of just laid it in a little bed of muslin, some muslin fabric that I also added on my bouquet. A charm. It's a heart key, and some more cheesecloth back here. I'm loving the cheesecloth. I don't think I'll ever get tired of cheesecloth. I also draped a little bit of that same lace from the edges. I just draped it over, just hanging over the lid. Just kind of helps with popping, bringing some more of the white out. And layered a couple of butterflies and put it on some of the stems from the roses. Did the same thing here to match the entire set. Everything has a little bit of the same thing all over it. So here's my box, and I did actually, I think this is just one layer of chipboard. I used a large cupcake liner for the inside and just filled it with some Hershey's Kisses. Painted it white. Here's the seam from the chipboard, and here's the embossed resist paper that I had sprayed down to bring out the pink and to show the embossed pattern all the way around there. And on the inside of the lid, I also decorated it, which I really love. This part is my favorite part, I think. So this is from a decorative doily heart or a swirly heart or something like that from Sizzix. Cut out a chipboard, and so it's just kind of like works as a little lattice, and then a center piece here with a large Wild Orchid Crafts rose, some of the little flowers, just a bundle of pearls here. And this little bouquet is also one that's sitting in a muslin bed. It's like a leaf. I just cut leaves out of it. This Vintage Valentine, that's what it's called. Vintage Valentine was the name of the paper that, another piece of paper that I used. Kind of went with the brown tones with, and the card and stuff of the paper collection. There was also that a gray piece of doily, which is back here behind the flower, some cheesecloth, and then more butterflies. And then the same paint that I mixed for the flower, for the rose, I painted the inside of this die cut and just kind of bent it up a little bit to give it some cracked areas. And then using the Emmy board, I just stressed it all the way around in certain areas, and then added gesso throughout after I glued everything down. This was not easy to do. The die cut heart behind it, I cut a piece that was a little bit larger than the actual die cut, and that's what I used for the top of the lid. And it wasn't easy trying to bend the the chipboard to fit the same shape of the heart. As you can see, it's not a perfect heart right here, but it worked out fine. I made it work. I don't know, I'm not a builder. I don't make things from scratch like that, but it was fun to mess with and it fit fine. It looks like the lid is a little bit thicker, you can tell, but it's okay. For my first box, it's totally fine. It worked out perfect to me. And I really liked it. I had fun making that. And the bouquet, and again, this is the actual sucker. The Tootsie Roll Pop is in the center of it. And if I can pull one of these, oh, here it is. I left one loose so I can take a picture and show the inside of the Tootsie Roll. So you can see it there. So it's the base. So I just added a bunch of the wild roses on top. I set one on top. I actually hot glued some of them. So one's on top, and then there's a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 around the center, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 around the bottom. And then to kind of fill the gap, I made some more of these little bouquets. Now these little guys, I'll glue that one. Here it is. So I just got a couple of little gypsophila flowers and a rose, and I cut some leaves out of the fabric and just kind of layered it inside of it, and hot glued the bottom together so they all stayed together. And I did that with all the little bouquets, and I just set them in there. Some I glued because they wouldn't stay really well and they kept moving and falling out, so that's what I did with that. So I added, here's one, and there's another, and there's another. Here's another one back here. And then some butterflies on a spring right here too. Added some pearls in there too, just to kind of give that romantic look. And then I added some more roses with the muslin leaves down here. I wrapped muslin around the stick of the Tootsie Pop all the way around it, and just tied it at the top here so it just drapes down. See them? Added 2 pieces of muslin, and then I added some of the same seam binding that I used on the card and on the box itself. This is from Patsy's store at Prairie Bird Boutique. Beautiful, beautiful seam binding of every single color you can think of. So that is my bouquet of flowers, and so this is my project I made for the very first round. So again, thanks Cathie, thanks Linda, and thanks to you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Jules signing out of the Jewel Box. Bye everybody.